Welcome to the Past Present Feature Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Valerian Projectors, featuring the Valerian Vision Master Pro 2, a filmmaker and film lover's dream. This outstanding 4K HDR tri-laser projector boasts 3000 ISO lumens, Rec 2020 color, and an impressive 15,000 to 1 contrast ratio. That gives you those deep, rich blacks in every frame. That's what I as a filmmaker care about the most. With IMAX and Dolby Vision compatibility, Google OS, Active 3D, Filmmaker mode, the list of impressive specs is endless. It delivers an exceptional cinematic experience when viewing the films of our podcast guests. Head over to Valerian.com to get yours today. That's VALERION.com. In this conversation, filmmaker James DeMonaco discusses his journey from writing the comedy Jack and working with Francis Ford Coppola, as well as Luc Besson, one of my favorites, to creating the very successful Purge franchise. I'm sure you've heard of it. Up next is his latest, a psychological horror film called The Home, starring Pete Davidson, which is releasing theatrically July 25th via Roadside Attractions. DeMonaco shares insights on genre forms and screenwriting, as well as being a working screenwriter for the past 30 years in Hollywood. A very impressive resume. He reflects on his experiences with notable actors and directors and the creative process behind his films, emphasizing the need for authenticity and emotional connection in storytelling. Many past inspirations are discussed, including the 1977 supernatural horror The Sentinel, directed by Michael Winner, as well as James's ongoing passion for Fellini films. How you doing? What's going on? Great movie.
Oh, man, living the dream in this crazy world we live in.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a constant barrage, seems like.
Oh, dude, it's a constant barrage, so much so that my wife has made me kind of drop out of society because it was leading to some very bad moods on my end.
That sounds like a good idea. Time to hibernate.
Exactly. It's time to hide and hibernate, and not much we can do right now, so it's kind of scary.
I've been having a lot of conversations like this with my friends and people, and I think it always circles back to the same notion of the gratitude of being able to have these movies that we can make,
Indeed.
It's therapy.
Indeed. I'm trying to focus on the same thing. And but then I get caught up in AI and get scared about our future, and that then leads to more anxiety.
Yeah. Well, in ChatGPT, and this is all relatable, man, like ChatGPT, I've been ChatGPTing it up. It's been helping me as far as just cutting down on research times and organizing kind of my structures a little better as far as interview structures or something like that, But I feel a little funny about it, It's like, do I not use this? It is a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I know writers who use it, like you said, for research and to help with outlining. Yeah. I think I'm worried more on the visual side. I've seen some stuff that scares the hell out of me that they can do visually.
Sure.
So I do wonder 5 years from now if you and I will be kicked to the curb in some way.
Look, I interviewed a girl at a Berlin Film Festival last year. She made a film entirely AI, and
oh my God.
And it was it premiered at the Berlin Alley, and it was like in the main section, I believe. And I'm like, whoa! And like it was more about she made it over 6 days. And didn't no sleep, and I was just like, what prompts did you put in? And it was all about just the prompts of it was a very meta thing where it's like, how is AI going to affect humankind and et cetera. But as far as the visual, it was clearly AI, and it was a special thing, but I guess we're a ways out as far as it being able to replicate what we can still do. But that said, it's like, what does AI know about loss and grief and
that's what I'm hoping. You just nailed it. I hope there's a human element they can't mimic at any point in time. I saw a trailer a friend of mine made for a film he wrote, and he wanted a trailer. So he spent about $15,000 and he worked with an AI company. And the trailer it's mind blowing, my friend. It looks like, it's still, you're right. We're still a generation away, but I'd say it was 95%. I was watching something one of us shot or someone shot. I was like, well, we're really close. And that truly scared me, because I have friends of mine say, I'll never accept a movie that's made by AI. I go, but if you see Apocalypse Now, something on the level of Apocalypse Now that was made by AI, and you don't know, and you're moved, your soul is moved by it. I don't. I think you'll accept it. I think, and if you're moved by it in your heart and soul, and that makes it fucking breaks my heart in a way, in a strange way.
Yeah, it's a wild time, and it's happening so fast.
Yes, exactly.
You know, but apparently we've got about 4 years left, according to the Google. I forget the guy's name, the guy who runs Google, or one of them. We're about 4 years away from AI. If you're not on the train, then you're going to be left behind, whatever that means. So, anyways,
yeah.
Ooh, but as far as your film, The Home, man, I watched it last night, and I actually just got a projector too, so I watched it the right way. Yeah.
Oh, it's nice, man.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool movie. Very cool movie. Pete did a great job. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you, man.
To it. I like the editing a lot, actually, too. The editing I really liked. That just something that stuck out to me.
That last we spent all the money I'd say in the last 25 minutes, my friend. It was I knew this was different than the Purge movies in that it was more of a psychological horror, but I did want to give a cathartic last 25 minutes to the audience where I could not pull my punches and kind of go all the way with it, and I hope it's satisfying for people.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm looking here. Yeah, it was really good. I'm looking here now. So let me read the synopsis real quick. The Home is an upcoming American psychological horror thriller film directed by James DeMonaco, written by DeMonaco and Adam Cantor, and starring Pete Davidson, John Glover, and Bruce Altman. And it was Miramax production company, produced by Bill Block. Was Andrew Golub over there when you were doing this?
Yes. Yeah, we worked with Andrew. He was on set with us.
That's my man. Golub's my man. He was in one of my movies, actually.
Get out. Which one? Where'd you work with him?
This little micro-budget movie I made called Chameleon. I had him come out and play a scumbag husband. So, you know.
he was tough on us, but in a good way. I would say that I think having a smart studio, throwing parameters at you and budgetary parameters forces you to be a little more creative. And Andrew was one of the good ones. I've dealt with bad ones. Andrew was one of the good ones.
Nice. Yeah, he's always been very supportive of me. Always actually cared. Yeah, I need to call him. Nice. Well, okay, so this movie. Well, let's go with your origin story first, actually. Let's go with you, James DeMonaco. Got you right here, actually. You are an American filmmaker. You are best known for creating the Purge franchise, writing all 5 films in the series and directing the first 3. Big deal. It's crazy. DeMonaco's first produced screenplay was the Robin Williams comedy Jack. Really?
Yes, it was, my friend. Yeah.
Directed by Coppola. Whoa. You wrote Jack. Wow.
Yeah, with a buddy at a film school. Yep.
That's
weird experience. Really
cool. Weird. Okay. Wait, you wrote that in film school. How did that get into Coppola's hands, I guess, or how did that get made?
Yeah. So I was at film school for about a couple of months before I quit, and but I met a buddy there who had some. So it's weird when you're at NYU. I don't know if you did the film school thing, brother.
Behind me is my film school, and also I did go to a film program. But I was on film sets as a grip for 7 years at a.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
That's film school. Yeah.
Yes.
So
but not traditionally. Yeah.
Exactly. But you did the real film school. So I quit because everybody there at NYU, I don't want to demonize anything, but a lot of the kids had they had when I say $1,000, they had 20, 30, 40, 50, some had $100,000 to make a short film. I was bartending at the time. I didn't have much money, maybe $500 in my pocket. So I made a couple of tiny things, nothing big. But then I knew I'm not going to have the money for a senior thesis film. I quit, but I met a dude who had about $40,000 from his father's friend who had just gotten out of prison. Weird story. Long story short, his name was Gary, great guy, Gary Nadeau, great director. And I wrote a lot of horror and crime stuff. Gary was more of kind of a Chris Columbus, Zemeckis, early Zemeckis kind of director. And he asked me to write something with him. So right after I quit, we wrote this idea of Jack in about a month. And I'd also written his short film, Gary's short film that he had the money for, and we won the Student Academy Award simultaneously.
Gotcha.
So they're flying out to LA. I'll make a quick story. Flying us out to LA for the Student Academy Awards, and we gave him the script of Jack. And somehow it made its way. Literally, we were flying on a Friday. We landed, neither of us had a pot to piss in, and all the studios wanted the script. Long story short, Disney bought it in a bidding war. They quickly fired Gary because Gary was going to direct it. And somehow Robin Williams signed on and he wanted Coppola. and we was in production, my friend. It was the weirdest experience. I got to live with Coppola, my childhood hero, for a month up on his vineyard. He was a wonderful man. But I can say that the movie didn't come out, I think. Listen, Francis has said it's one of his least favorite films that he's made.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he's come out and said that. And I get it. It's an awkward film. I find it to be an awkward film, in all honesty. And it was a great experience making it. I got to live with Francis. I learned so much from him. He's a wonderful man. I remember the day they started shooting, I'll never forget this. I'm reading William Goldman's book. This is a true story.
Oh, yeah. Secrets of the Screen Trade.
Exactly. And a chapter begins with that the hardest part about it being a screenwriter is you don't know who's going to direct. You have no control over who's going to direct your material. And God forbid you write a comedy and Francis Ford Coppola is going to direct you. I swear to God.
That's what he said in the book?
That's nothing to do with my movie. It's just literally, I think it's chapter 6. It's the opening sentence of the chapter. And not that it was a straight comedy, but it was just something awkward about the marriage of Francis and this material. I think his heart was in it. The theme of the script was that you can live 20 years and have a full life. And I think that's how he looked at Gio's life, his son who passed. So there was noble intentions. It was just something off. He did have a cut that I saw that the studio rejected that was actually a very poetic, beautiful film, much better than the film that came out in theaters. But it was quite dark. It was quite dark. At Jack and Robin finding a dead horse in a forest, very somber feel. But as we know,
my recollection is distant because I haven't seen it in years. But when it came out, 98 or what was that? 90 something like that.
I think it was shot in 1995. Yeah.
Okay. I remember it being wonderful. And Robin Williams, how was that?
Wonderful man. He was in character when I met. He was in character as Jack. So I met Jack. He was in, and then at the premiere, he was just a wonderful, sweet man. Just a sweet man. Yeah,
that's amazing though. Amazing gift for you to have that.
Yeah, it's a weird start, dude. It was weird because I was kind of known for writing the movie Jack, which made a little money. I guess for the studios were somewhat happy, but that's not what I wrote after that at all. I was a horror thriller, mostly action, to be honest, back then.
Okay.
So I had to then segue. Then luckily I had the negotiator script, which kind of helped me kind of get into more of what was more my wheelhouse.
So how did that? Okay, yeah. So let's go to from Jack to The Purge. Like, what did that look like for you?
Yes. So the idea was always to direct, right? So it was a long journey. It was so Jack and I luckily had negotiator which sold, and then we made that with Sam Jackson and Kevin Spacey, Gary Gray directed.
Oh, that was a great movie. Oh, you did that one.
Yeah, I did that one. That came right in. Luckily, that kind of started my real career, I would say, after Jack was not really my thing, writing comedy. I'm not a comedy guy. And
can I ask you this? I'm sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut the flow off, but I'm just curious. When you rewatched The Negotiator, which I haven't seen in years, how does that one hold up for you?
Pretty good, man. It's so. I think that was the hardest part about being a writer is, and I would say that it could be my version could be parallel or worse, but it's just different. So it's hard to marry. And I love working with Gary Gray. We got along, we became friends. So Gary had one vision, I had another. I think Gary made a good movie. The movie that's in my head could be worse than Gary's, but it's just not my vision. So it's always hard for me to go back and watch. But I think Sam's really good. I think the cast is really fun. We got David Morse and John Spector, really kick-ass kid. Ron Rifkin, super fun cast to work. When I was on set, J.T. Walsh I became friendly with, and he was this incredible wit and interesting man. And, so we had a really fun time on set. So Gary wanted me and my buddy at the time there, who I wrote it with. And yes, that led to writing big action films for the studios, and nothing was getting made because it was so expensive. And then I segued purposefully. I got a call to write the remake of Assault on Precinct 13. I did a little TV stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then the remake of Assault.
Ethan Hawke in that? Who was in that?
Ethan, brother. Yeah, Ethan and Dre DiMatteo and Lawrence Fishburne, fun cast.
Yeah.
And Brian Dennehy. So anyway, I took that job with the caveat with a French production company called Why Not? Wonderful company. They make films with Jacques Audiard and No Play de Plachen in France. So I made a deal with them saying, if I write this, I love the Carpenter film. I want two things. I want Carpenter's that he's okay with us doing it. So we met with John and we spoke to him, and he was great. He actually gave me some story ideas. And then I also said, please help me. You got to help me get this movie financed that I had. And they did help me. They got the financing for the first movie I directed called Staten Island, New York. with Ethan Hawke and Vincent D'Onofrio and Seymour Cassell. They got that from Luc Besson's company, EuropaCorp. So that's part of the path, actually, then to, I made Staten Island, New York. My producer was a guy named Sebastian Mercier, who's now my partner, producing partner. And he's produced every Purge movie. I wrote The Purge. He and I then sent it. It got passed on. We counted about 35 entities passed on it before Jason Blum saw something that we saw in it. And then The Purge. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So your first directing debut, what was it called again?
Staten Island, New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
Experience. When you first directed for the first time, how the fuck was that? It must be wonderful.
Oh, first time, yeah, dude, the best. And I had complete creative freedom. I don't know if this would happen with 3 times about the amount of money I had to Purge one. So I had about $6 million from Luc Besson. He was incredibly supportive.
Nice.
I had this great
fan over here.
Yeah, dude. And he was wonderful to work with. He came to set, gave me great pointers on set. And I had this great cast of, Ethan, who I knew from Assault, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Seymour Cassell and Julianne Nicholson. And I grew up being, I guess my favorite filmmaker gone to my head would be Fellini. So nice. It was my ode, I guess, to Fellini. I think the tone of the movie, I would say, if I had to self-analyze my own self-critique, my stuff is, there's an absurdity like Fellini that I grew up loving in Fellini's films. I'm not sure the audience knew how to tonally accept the film because it's odd. It's an odd film. I love it.
American audiences, too, are a little different, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to demonize the American ones, but I do think the European audience, and it got accepted to every European film festival, and it did well, actually, in Europe, but we barely got a release here, and it didn't get accepted to one festival here. So it was
just had this conversation with a Carla Vivari filmmaker who we had half a third of the conversation was just like European versus American, the differences between the two audiences. Yeah.
It really is different though. And neither is right, neither is wrong, but I think it's different. And I don't want to be pretentious and say my taste is somewhat European, but I do watch a lot of European films. I grew up watching that. And I think I sometimes mix genre, which I think is not demonized in America, but is more accepted in the European or.
And I think Americans are so good at genre filmmaking, right? I mean,
absolutely, dude. Right. So it's even with the Purge films, people want to say it's horror, but I'm like, well, it's not really horror. They're not horror films. They're more action, dystopian. But we are very good at singularity, I think, in films. Mm-hmm. Where, even watching a Fellini film, it'll go from something horrific to something sexual to comedy.
The shades.
We don't see that. I don't think we see that here, that kind of change of tone much. Right or wrong.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, it's almost like you got to package it and make it nice and neat and digestible, and it's like a vending machine in a way where it's like this is what you're getting, and da-da-da-da.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the digestible is the perfect word. Exactly.
The business. That's show business, I guess.
Yes, it ain't show friends. It's show business.
Oh my god, that's Hollywood, baby.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So Purge, obviously a huge success. That was a fun time for you, I'm sure, when that blew up.
Dude, crazy, completely unexpected. We thought, and this is the God's honest truth, I was writing like Staten Island again didn't like the world on fire. So Sebastian's like, write something small, something we can contain and shoot. And we thought shoot it really small to play at the Angelica in New York.
Yeah.
And we thought it was like a Hanukkah film, like Funny Games. Uh-huh. I don't know if Benny's video or something. But anyway, Jason Blum saw something else. He saw a wider audience for it. There was a couple of things I had to cut to get it to that. Just one thing, really. And then, Jason saw something and it blew that weekend. Even the prognosticators were completely wrong. I remember that I called my agency and I said, I just want to make another movie. Obviously I want this to do well. What does it have to financially make so I can get another movie made? And I remember the head of the agency said, "Oh, you just got to do about 10, JD. And you'll be okay." So I was like, "Hey, let's do 10. Fantastic." And then it had that, I think $38 million opening. And I was with my mom and dad here on Staten Island, and we were just like looking at each other. The head of the studio called, and I'm like, "This is surreal. This is weird."
So
weird.
Exciting, I'm sure. Ooh,
yeah, it was a fun thing. It was fun because, and I had an idea of what 2 should be. So that was nice. It was nice to know where to go on part 2 and not force it.
Yeah. So you've had some. I mean, you've had some blessings. It sounds like, to a degree. I mean, I'm sure you're deserving, but you've been
like you said, the cinema gods smiled on it.
Blum.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I can't complain. I do complain a lot, but I shouldn't probably.
Well, you seem super cool. It's nice to
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The good people's. Okay, so between Purge and The Home, what were you doing during that period?
I did, like I said, wrote the 5 Purges, did the 2 seasons of the TV show. I oversaw it. I didn't run it, but I oversaw those 2 seasons. I wrote a couple books actually in that time. One called Feral, and another one called The Peculiar Adventures of Jack Kimball. It was a children's book. So I wrote a couple books.
That's
So that was fun, something different. And then I did an independent film, dude. I made an indie that it was called. It was my ode to my love of movies, called This Is the Night. And you're clearly a cinephile. You should check it out, dude. It's a fun, weird movie.
2021.
Naomi Watts, and Bobby Cannavale and Frank Grillo, called This Is the Night, and it's about
it's about the night, 1982.
Oh, dude! Oh my God, you're much younger than me, man. We have a bad feed, so I can't tell it. So yeah, it's about the year Rocky III opened on Staten Island, and how it kind of it inspires people to fight their fears and rise up and do things they would never be courageous enough to do without the inspiration of the film. So I guess it's my cinema paradiso.
Okay. This is the night. Okay. I love movies about movies. I love them.
I think you'll dig it. It's funny. It's good. Everybody, Naomi's wonderful. They're all great. Bobby's great. Frank's great. There's 3 boys in it. I think what I did, dude, I'd be so curious to see what you think.
Sure.
It's exactly what I was just talking about. I think I mix genres, meaning you get a little bit of American Graffiti in there, but then there's a storyline about a young man who's struggling with his identity, and he's coming out on that evening, and then it's very kind of mob story, a surreal mob storyline. There's no similarity in tone. I guess I'm mixing absurdity with very serious drama with comedy. I think some people accept that, and some people don't. That's just
I'm a huge. I try to just mix my genres up. I just finished a documentary. It's called Hollywood PI. It's about It's a real life documentary about a real life PI, but it's totally a detective comedy because he has this sidekick. It's like this fucking 2-hander that I've stumbled backwards into. I would be so jealous of this movie. But anyways, if it wasn't mine. But it's like,
wait, can I see that, Mugs? Can I see that now?
Or is that? Yeah. I'm just but it turned out good. But as far as just the genre techniques, like just understanding memoir and comedy and detective, and specific, you have the subgenres too, right? The 2-handed kind of comedy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Odd couple comedy. That's what it is. Like a 28-year-old PI in training and a 65-year-old salty veteran.
This sounds fantastic.
Trying to solve the murder of the 65-year-old's mentor.
Oh my God, dude! Does it have an LA noir feel to it? Is it LA or is it?
Yeah, I tried. But it's a lot of juxtaposition, a lot of sunshine too.
A lot of sunshine. Yeah, I just watched Long Goodbye, talking about great LA noir.
We just watched that. The Altman, the Altman.
The Altman one. Yeah,
it's such a weird, cool film.
It is, isn't it, man? It's fantastic.
Yeah, even with documentaries, I love trying to take the genre beats and put them into the real world, and it's so fun once you do that. And the power of genre and the power of understanding genre is so big, so huge. So,
John, about it all I think it could be the most powerful, vessel to get something across to an audience. There's something about genre that just, I think, the way Carpenter and Romero handled it back in the day. Ooh. Yeah, it's my favorite.
It's like these, like the mythic structure, the Greek structure, whatever, things we're so used to, the hero's journey. We're conditioned for that, right? At least in the Western side of things, and Eastern's got this own thing going on where it's not about the hero so much as the world. But as far as the genre and the Hollywood, the films that have come out and the way that these subgenres have been created, they're like not bite-sized, they're like variations of that same idea, right? As far as these structures that we're familiar with. So when we're talking about show business and Hollywood and stuff, like them being able to make the money to give this product to someone, they really seem to work when you honor these beats. You try to subvert the beats, of course, but yeah, genre.
You're right. I think saying subverting the beats is, but like you said, the paradigm works, right? There's something about the Conrad method, model. It's just that hero's journey is just. It just works, man. But trying to subvert is the hard part for us, right? Is how do we, within that, I don't want to say it's cliched, but the structure is, we've seen it a million times.
Sure.
How do we do something different within that journey? And that's
challenge.
Yeah, exactly. How do we transcend that? Right, exactly.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, this conversation is great, but I got to move on to your well, it's still going to be great, but I want to keep talking to you, but I guess we should move on to the home. I want to hear more about your past, but we can't spend too much time in the past. You got to move on. My podcast is called Past, Present, Future. Who am I to say anything?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's just such an interesting concept. Time, looking back, it's a valuable thing, right? Especially with film and cinema, as far as like being able to honor and be inspired by all these past movies. But
it's
cutting to the now, like what right now, and it's like, tell me about the home and like how it started, and maybe how you how Pete came on, and whatever else should come to mind as far as kind of pre-production and development and stuff.
Absolutely, dude. Yes, I was COVID had just hit. I was actually writing a movie with Pete. Lives up the street from here in Staten Island at his mom's house. He was there at the time, I should say, and we knew each other from a local restaurant where he was a busboy waiter.
Nice.
And the Purge had just come out, and he came over to my table. He knew it was a local hangout called Nucci's. It's a very Italian American community here on Staten Island, and Pete was a way to come by, introduce himself, saying I'm a young comedian and I love your movie, and we kind of hit it off. And he was this great young man, and we kept in touch over the years. Got SNL, but we stayed in touch, and he was always a soulful man. I knew more. I guess I knew him as a human being, not as the comic. So when Adam and I wrote The Home, we immediately thought of Pete because I think his journey he could tap into what Max was going through, the trauma of Max's past. Pete, I think we all know, had trauma in his past with his dad and 9/11. So we thought he was a nice fit for the movie. But the movie itself, the script came out of COVID too. I was sitting with my best friend, Adam Cantor. He's just, we met another Staten Island guy, and he's written a bunch of things on his own, and always tried to help him. He's younger than me, so try to help him with his writing, and he helps me too. He's one of my readers, and he's very honest with me. I think we all need honest people, and I think it's the most invaluable thing.
Totally.
Right? Don't you do it, man? I always say that. Sometimes I'll watch a filmmaker's movie, and I'll be like, oh, they don't have any more they only have yes men in their lives. No one's telling.
You got to be open-minded. The younger version of me would be like, no, I got it all figured out, because young and dumb, But,
exactly.
But now it's like, I want to make this movie as good as it can be, because I can't put it back in once I put it out. I know that. I made 5 features, and I know the deal now. And it's not about my ego. It's about how good can this film be. Anyways.
Yeah, it calls you out on your shit, right? Because we all do we fudge things. And
well, also just redundancies, take that out. You've already said that. You don't need that. Why do you need that? Or even, we're just in the weeds, it's like you got so much and you're so into it, so inside it, that you need people. It's like a friend that's just talking you through a breakup or something hard in life, where you're just in it.
An honest voice in your ear. Yeah, Purge 1, I would say people read the first draft of Purge 1 before Sebastian's notes came in. It was unfilmable. I was just too in love with my own bullshit.
Okay.
And he just came in and called me out, and he said, first of all, this is rated XXX for violence, and you need to, I thought I was doing this great dissertation on the nature of violence in the world, and it was like got 200 pages, and he's like, just, you're too in love with your own shit. Let's cut this thing. And he just came in and gutted it, and it's a wonderful person to have. So anyway, Adam was my guy, I gave him stuff to read, he gave me stuff to read, and we were sitting in my yard. His 2 boys, my daughter, I guess during COVID, they called it like people are in a bubble together. So they were the only family we saw during those early scary COVID days.
Wow. Crazy time.
Yeah. So we were sitting in my backyard with me and Adam, and we both had strange experiences with older people in our families when we were young.
Okay.
At old age facilities. And not to say that all these facilities have a creep factor, but the ones that the ones that aren't high end have a very odd feeling. And and as a young man, I was overwhelmed by the impending nature of death that was just in every hallway. And I know there's probably places that don't have this, but the ones I visited had this kind of air. So I always wanted to do something in a senior care facility.
I'd never seen that. I was watching it last night. I'm like, I don't think I can remember ever seeing. I can't remember ever seeing a film like this that takes place in this setting. And it's like, it's a really simple, solid concept.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, and I always try to go for. That's why I tell people I think conceptually simple usually works best. So we were searching for something simple, and then I think coupled with that, I always had this image. There was a movie called The Sentinel from 1978.
Okay.
Yeah, weird movie. But there was one image in the film that stayed with me with a nude old man running through this dark hallway. And I always say everything I do, I'm plagued with night terrors. Since I was a little boy, I wake up screaming at night. I still do today.
Okay.
And this was one of those images that has stayed with me forever.
The Sentinel.
Dude,
a New York City model with a troubled past, Allison Parker decides to make some changes in her life. Breaking up with her boyfriend, Allison relocates to an apartment in a brownstone building where the only other tenant is a withdrawn blind priest. Ooh.
I think that's I wonder if that's the guy who's running down the hallway naked, and it's freaking this old dude.
And Allison begins to realize why the holy man is present. The building has an evil presence that must be kept in check. Michael Winner is the director. 1977, $3.5 million.
Yeah. Great.
Universal Pictures, who also distributed your stuff, right?
That's right, dude. Oddly, yes. Anyways, I had that image. And then the movie that really inspired me the most, I think, as things coalesce in your head, is Rob, going back to Robert Altman we talked about before, is have you ever seen Three Women, dude, the Altman film?
Three Women. I know of it. I never actually watched it.
Oh, dude, you must watch it this week. It's, I think it's Altman's masterpiece. It's the weirdest, strangest 2-hour film. It makes you feel like you're in someone's dream. And that, to me, that's the greatest accomplishment by filmmakers.
No shit.
But it takes place in an old person's spa in like the desert in New Mexico. And it's, those zooms Altman uses, those beautiful, creepy zooms. And it's not a horror movie.
I love them.
It's just a weird psychological kind of game he's playing. Anyway, all that came together, dude. We were sitting in our backyard, so we're talking about, as we do, retirement facilities, the Sentinel, Three Women, aging. I was at the time, it's the funniest. So I eat very unhealthy. And I guess I just eat a lot of pizza and pasta. And,
yeah, that delicious Italian food.
Exactly.
Temptations everywhere around there, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So I started. My wife would convince me to take. She doesn't do yoga, but she convinced me to take up yoga during COVID, which was not something I had ever done in my life. But my feed, I noticed after I took up yoga, and this is what really brought everything home for the home, it was inundated. My YouTube feed was inundated with longevity supplements, and I just went. So I went down the rabbit holes, hitting on all these links on YouTube, and I saw that this was a whole industry of longevity and elongating our lives. Mm-hmm. And then that was the final piece that pushed us into, there's something nefarious, mysterious happening at this old age home. So I layered in a whole thing in here. I don't even know if I learned a lesson on the Purge movies. I think my politics I started proselytizing and preaching in 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I think I put it too far. I've always wanted a little socio-political element. I like layering shit with that. It's growing up with, Romero and Carpenter. Mm-hmm. In this one, I wanted some, there's a kind of a climate change kind of underbelly of what the previous generation is doing to the planet and leaving, the newer generation. So I think, Pete representing, generation, I don't know the generation names, X, would he be X? And then there's the boomer generation raping our planet of its resources. So the whole thing was a metaphor. But I think, that's almost like a fun thing to do for yourself. You hope some audience members get it. But the movie's not created upon that, enjoying it for that layer.
It's this underbelly thing, this what do you call it? This reservoir that does affect the film, but it's not on the note. People don't just come away from it and say, "Oh, I love those themes there." I mean, I don't know. It's better. People don't want to be informed or preached to, anyways. They want to be entertained, and that's how you can get there.
Exactly. That's what I learned that in a harsh way. I think on Purge 5. Yeah, people felt I was getting a little preachy.
But also, you got 5 films out of that. I mean, Jesus, that's pretty impressive.
We learned our lessons. We learned.
Okay, so the home production, filming this thing, how did that go? By the way, I just want to say this. Love that when he arrives at the home.
Yeah.
That fucking dolly shot. Long lens dolly? Is that what it was? Long lens on a dolly?
Dolly. I love it. Yeah. I love you.
It's like, I'm
a big fan of the old long lens. The 360, 180, beautiful lenses. And we brought the zoom in a lot here. Shooting was great. I was working with my DP from he did one of my Purge movies. He did my This Is the Night film. So we know each other very well. Anastasia Mikos. Okay. Wonderful DP.
Great.
He did what was it called? Man in the Moon with Milos Forman, beautiful DP. And
shit.
Yeah, wonderful. And so I had a lot of my crew that I worked with before. So, that's a great shorthand. But it was a hard shoot, man. I didn't have enough time, as it always is. Not enough time, not enough money. So we were up against it. And the place itself, Listen, we got incredibly lucky. It was we couldn't find anything, to the point where we almost said, well, I don't know how we're going to shoot this movie. Because we couldn't afford to jump locations. We had to find one place. And luckily, my great location department found an old age home that just shut down. So everybody had just moved out. It was run by nuns. And it was a creepy place, man. I'm not one of those people, but there was some weird shit that started happening on set.
Oh, really?
We found, the crew found, that song where the character of Norma, Mary Peel, is singing at the piano. So,
yes, I remember.
Oh, your sweetheart. I forgot who the artist is. Long story short, we're shooting in a room. Each room had the name of the previous occupant, and they also had a plaque to the people who died before that occupant on the wall. So her character's name was Norma. We were shooting in a room where the previous occupant was named Norma, and underneath her bed, everything was cleared out except for a little some accoutrement of the previous tenants. The crew found the music box playing the song that the character Norma was. Now I thought it was bullshit. I called my crew out and you're fucking with me. Yeah. My DP, who I know dearly, is like a brother. Was like, JD, I was there and found it. It was literally a music box under the bed, and it had 3 songs programmed in, and one of them was "Let Me Call You Sweetheart" with a previous occupant named Norma. So weird shit. We had
that music's weird in general too. That time period is fucking weird. Even when you because you use it in the movie, right? Whenever he's going through the thing and you hear that,
exactly.
He's open the. I think it's also just the way that music was recorded too. It's like hanging on for dear life with the technology.
Yes, exactly.
That's something about it. It's like dying, literally trying to stay alive. Yeah.
Great pickup. Creepy. Yeah. Creepy. So that was creepy. We had it didn't make the movie, but we had a centipede in the movie. Big ass centipede, about a foot long.
Ooh.
And it would be in a dream sequence. So they make me pick the centipede out of a book. And I'm like, oh, I like that one. And they bring it to set, the centipede handlers, and they don't tell anyone that it's poisonous. And if you get bit by it, you'll be. Dude, I'd say I'm probably exaggerating. It was about 8 inches long.
Jesus.
It looked like it was bigger than a hot dog, dude. It was the creepiest goddamn thing I've ever seen. And they tell us it's poisonous, and if you get bit by it, you'll be paralyzed for about an hour, and it'll be excruciating pain. Long story short, the son of a bitch thing gets loose on set, and they can't find it anywhere, and the whole splatters. And they eventually find it. This is where it gets weird. They found it. Remember that statue I keep shooting in the movie, that weird deer statue that's in front of the home?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the hole.
Living inside that later that day. It's sought refuge inside this statue.
Oh my god!
That we kept. Yeah, it was very creepy. So weird shit. And it was Pete was going through a lot at the time. He was getting a lot of. I think I could say this. I shouldn't get too much into it. A lot of weird stuff. Kanye West was doing a lot of weird stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. This place is as far as time is concerned.
Yeah, yeah. And so
much press Pete's gotten.
Yeah, and it was nothing of his fault. It's just that Kanye was doing very strange things.
He seems like a cool dude. I haven't met him, I don't know him, but he seems like he'd be a solid dude, which is good to see.
Oh, he really is, man. He really is. He's just a guy who's got his head on shoulders. Head on right, and he's a soulful guy, and I think that each year he's getting better perspective on what the business is and how to handle the business. Yeah.
Well, I want to say this too, as far as I was very impressed with his performance, because
it's great to hear.
It's like it's not. I don't think it's very easy at all to. I like that he didn't have a ton of dialogue. I mean, he had plenty, but he didn't. It felt like he was doing a lot without dialogue, which is nice, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was very impressive.
I told the same thing.
It was refreshing to have him be in that role too.
I
hadn't seen him in something like that before.
Exactly. And people were asking, like, even the studio didn't at first know. But I'll give going back to Andrew Goloff and Bill Block. They were like, no, okay, if you see something, let's take that chance. Because they hadn't seen him like that. They know him from SNL and King of Staten Island. And I was like, no, I know the guy. I know him as a human being. He's a very soulful guy. And I know he can do this. But I'll say this. I was scared. You never know what you're going to get. And here he's working with John Glover and Johnny Phillips. These are great stage actors. Mary Beth Beal, Jessica Hecht, who's been up for 2 Tonys in a row. So he's working with craftsmen and craftswomen. And so I was a little nervous. I'm like, wow, is he going to be able to handle himself? But they were in Bruce Altman. I remember Bruce, another wonderful actor, plays Dr. Sabian. He was blown away. He's like, this kid's natural. He's just got it. And so we got lucky. He's going to get lucky. Pete's talent is not lucky.
Yeah, sure. And there's still a little bit of Not too much. There's a little bit of funny moments in here too. Like,
Yeah,
it was
I
like
think
a
so.
handful
Right?
of yeah, it's good. It's good because it kind of breaks through the thick atmosphere a little bit.
Exactly.
You
It's pretty
understand?
thick. Yes, it gets a little thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
right
it's
now, I'll say that
yeah.
Peter, for fun, he gave us a take. I'll never be able to do this because you know how much it takes to edit it and how much it costs. But he gave us one take per setup of something very funny. So
Okay.
there is a version of the film that's almost, I would say, almost straight comedy.
Oh wow.
But we had no time to edit that cut, and it just exists somewhere on an Avid. And I would love to go back and have that as a keepsake. Uh,
It's
he couldn't
editing.
he had to do it. You know,
This is a logical turning point to go into post and I guess distribution. But before that, I just want to say I wish you guys. Well, maybe you did. I was going to say I hope you guys filmed some behind the scenes. Did you remember how that was a thing back in the '90s? Because DVD there was a place for them. They had movies. They had documentaries on every movie almost, or not every, but a lot.
It was the greatest thing, dude. I wish I could show my camera. I'm like you. We have the same background, dude. I just got over like 4,000 DVDs, and the director's commentary is my favorite thing in the world, and I think it's a dying thing. It's going away.
Well, why, I wonder why the streamers don't. Maybe the audiences don't care. I don't know, but why don't the streamers have that option under the language button? You know, man, or at least Criterion or somebody like this premier streamer that's for prestige films or whatever it is. Like, give me that fucking director's commentary option.
Exactly, be fantastic, man. We need that. That's how I learned. Like you said, that's part of the great film school. I remember listening to even like Ron Shelton's Bull Durham.
Just make a streamer with by directors for directors and have it be a commentary situation.
That's a good idea. You should get that going.
Post-production and distribution. Yeah. So like production, you got through it, obviously. And then post. How was post and how was it getting rounding the corner and locking that film?
Dude, not easy for me. Editing to me is, I guess, the hardest part of the whole thing because I could I still, if they would let me and financially viable, I'd still be editing right now. Yeah. It's you know this probably, dude. It's you just feel like you can always do better.
It's the one thing I do have as far as making these documentaries where I accept that the movie's going to be done when it's done. But at least I'm not on the hook for millions. You know what I mean? It's different as far as there's no the financial pressure isn't there. You know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you're burning what 10, sometimes $20,000 a week on these studio. I guess this is a studio film, so we're looking at Miramax. They're not a distributor, but they are a studio, so they're a financier.
Yeah.
So we had some fights. I'll say that Andrew could probably tell you the truth. We had some, especially with me and Bill Block, but in a good way. I'd say it all yielded good results. The testing process, you know what that means. That's the worst.
The test screening, just getting people to watch. I like it. I like it, but it is not comfortable.
You just nailed it, dude. It's not comfortable, right? I can't even go in malls anymore. They're always in malls, so every time I see a mall, I get PTSD. And but they do sometimes yield. I'll say this: I think it's the key is interpreting the data, and you got to have a good team around you to interpret. You're getting 300 people. You get that booklet the next day.
Sure.
Oof. And something, you want to say, okay, what does this mean? And I think there's an art to the interpretation of the test audience. But we got through it. We got through it, man. I think we fought. We got there, and I think it was all good fighting and yielding something good. We did Andrew and Bill gave us a day of additional shooting, which I think is always nice to
amazing.
Holes. So that's a rare thing too.
That's great.
And then distribution, dude. We played up at the Toronto Film Festival, I think a year and a half ago, and we sold there. We were one of 2 films that sold that year. So that was exciting. That was cool.
Amazing.
Lionsgate.
So how was TIFF? So you said TIFF. That's where you premiered.
Yeah, exactly. We premiered there, but it was a weird section. It was the same section that the Holdovers played in the year before. Because Bill introduced that, Bill Block. I forgot what it's called. It's called something.
So it wasn't like a midnight section. It was something else.
Well, it was a weird section of movies that don't fit a genre like that are outside. It was a very strange bar. But Lionsgate saw it. Nathan Kane at Lionsgate, and they bought it. They held it, which was a scary time because in these modern days we don't know. The action. There's such a There was a change of leadership over there. Adam Fogelson, who I knew from Universal, came in and took over, and Adam had to deal with a lot of movies that were made by the previous regime. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I liked the home, and so he supported it. We're coming out in theaters finally. And that's exciting. I think there was a point, as we both know, in the modern world, that theatrical is no longer at all guaranteed in any way, shape. It never was, but now I think it's even harder because the streamers are easily viable
No, it's a huge deal. Theatrical, like you're still seeing it, but not much. Yeah. But it's great that you guys are getting it. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'll just take it now these days because who knows if it'll ever come again.
Did you see the article? I think it was 5 days ago-ish. Was these executives saying how they think that the theater experience is going to last for maybe another 15, 20 years? And then
oh my God, really?
But I think what's going to happen is the boutique is going to come back, right? Like how it was at the beginning, where you had these movie palaces, maybe not a palace, but like these single and double screen theaters. I think that could be the way. Again, they get rid of.
Yeah, I read. It's interesting you said that, dude. I read one article it was a French article, and they were saying that they think American cinema, not French cinema, American cinema will become more like Broadway, where you'll have, like you said, movie palaces, where it's more of an event.
Yep. Seems to be going that way. Yeah. I went and saw F1 on Saturday at the with the what is it, 4DX? It's pretty fucking cool, actually. I was like, whoa, how is moving? I enjoy the movie. I mean, the first 10 minutes the first reel was bumpy, as movies can be, getting in. But then it just found its legs. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I thought it was. And Pitt is he's a movie hero, man. He's just one of them. He's one of them movies.
How are you 61 years old? What the hell?
How is it? Exactly.
Genetics.
I'm so happy he's revisiting the Cliff Booth character. I just read that. This is the greatest news I've heard in years. My favorite.
I love this. And Fincher's directing with Tarantino's script with Brad Pitt. Come on, let's go.
Cinema heaven.
I love it. All right, cool. Sorry, back to yours. Back to your movie. Okay, so you had Roadside Attractions. Is that correct? I know Lionsgate.
Yeah, Roadside. It's released with Lionsgate together. Okay. We're working with Roadside. They're great. Lionsgate's been great. Yeah, then here we go, man. We come out July 25th against Fantastic Four. Let's
go. This movie's going to play well, I do think. People like Pete, and people love horror, and this is fresh, and it's going to do good.
Thank you, man. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just happy to be in theaters at this point, too. That's amazing.
So how do you prep for well, I got somebody that's got a movie in theaters. How do you prep for that? Like, how do you maximize that situation? Like how. Like the window of time, as far as press and stuff, you're doing things like this, and you're doing.
It's a great question. It's great. It's I always say I'm writing right now, Purge 6 actually, so I'm finishing that up, and I'm trying to say it's such a rare. It could be rare, and it's getting rarer to be theatrical. That I told like my wife and everyone, like, let's really try to enjoy this because I'm a quite anxiety-ridden man, so I sometimes work off of anxiety and fear. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to sit back and enjoy this one, and not get too caught up in what I could turn positive into negative very quickly. Not to get too personal, but yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy. So this whole month, I'm going to kind of sit back and just hopefully talk to good people like you, and just try to celebrate movies, and sit in the theater with other people and just sharing that experience, which is so fucking rare.
It's the craziest thing when you've done all this heavy lifting and this constant push, this rock up the hill, and then you finally get to the hill, and now it's rolling back down. You're just kind of watching it at the top of the hill. And then everybody else gets to know of it, gets to know the movie, right?
Exactly.
The work is done. In a way, the work on the film is done, of course. But then it's like the releasing strategies and all this, the promotion. But yeah, it's the weirdest thing because you're at least for me, I'm usually so tired of the movie at that point, which is a good thing, I think, because it means I haven't got nothing.
Done your job, exactly. Yeah.
But it's like also you want to still be present and enjoy all of the love that people hopefully give it,
You hope, right? Exactly. I told my writing partner, this is his first one. I'm like, just don't read comments. Don't read any comment sections.
Yeah, that one that Golov was in, I made it for $12,000, I think it was. And it was cool, but it wasn't what I envisioned, of course. But it was still, I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot of lessons, and he was great in it. Yeah. But the comments, that was the moment where I'm like, oh no. I suck. I'm no good. All these things. It's like, wait a minute. Fuck them. No.
They're the greatest.
I did Jack what I could with what I had,
I'll never forget when Jack came out. The first critic. I was literally still living at home with my parents, and we're watching the Today Show. And I don't remember, Gene Shalit was this guy. He had a big afro with a mustache, very famous in New York critic. He hated Jack, and he called my writing partner and myself. He said the real villains here. No, the real problem here are those villainous nincompoops, DeMonaco and Nadeau.
Oh no! I remember. I just looked him up. I know this. I've seen this guy. Whoa!
And I wrote to him years later. He really loved to negotiate, and I wrote to him. I got his email. I wrote, "This is from that villainous nincompoop on Jack." Hilarious. And He never wrote back. But I always tell people, you know what? You can't really read. You just got to enjoy the process.
It's like that scene from Birdman where he goes to visit, where Michael Keaton goes to see the critic at the end of the bar. Yeah.
Exactly. I wish I could do that. Yeah.
This has been a great combo. Anything you want to talk about?
Good God, I'm trying to think. People should just go to the movies, man. I hope that, I think this is the kind of movie I hope people see in the theaters, not at home. I mean, listen, if they see it at home, that's great. People got big screens now. But I think it's fun to see. I think horror is a great, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think your audience knows that it's great to see horror with an audience. It's fun to share that.
Yes.
Especially the last 20 minutes, I think, are bananas and fun to watch. So, yeah, man, thank you. Great questions, dude. Great.
Oh,
great
thank you so much. Well, you were great. You were a great guest, man. Let me ask you one more question. 2 more questions, actually. One, what is... Sure. The first one is, what would you say to your younger self when you were starting out? You know, if you were a filmmaker just starting out, what would you tell yourself now?
Shit, that's a great one, man. I'd say don't worry about all the shit that you worry about. Try to be a little more positive and work from the heart only. I've taken a couple of jobs that didn't come from my soul, and they were bad. I actually did bad work. I think we have to have I think it's got to come from the gut. And if it's not coming from the gut, don't work on it. Move on. Even if it feels like a great opportunity, you got to feel it in your soul. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's good. Last question, very simple one. What's the most recent thing you watched that you really love? That's no rewatch though, just something that's new.
Something new. Oh, dude, I saw an amazing film about 2 weeks ago that I wish I could tell everybody. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. His name is, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. That's how. He's from, I believe he's a Turkish filmmaker. His name is Nuri Bilge Ceylan. He made a film called About Dry Grasses. And if you get a chance to see it, it's a beautiful film. He's made other great films. Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, Winter's Sleep.
Okay.
But his new one,
it looks like.
Yeah, his new one's called About Dry Grass, and it just blew me away.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Beautiful.
This podcast is brought to you by Valerian Projectors. Head over to Valerian.com to get yours today. That's VALERION.com. Please like and subscribe to this podcast and follow us on social media at Past Present Feature. And let us know in the comments section what movies you're watching. Thank you so much for listening to the Past Present Feature podcast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.